Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 28th of April. Hi, I'm Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Mineral Resources, Rio Tinto, Weebit Nano, Elementos and Eclipse Group. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you're signing up to the free newsletter. But our better ideas come out every Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report, so make sure you've signed up to that. But if you do enjoy these videos, please share them on social media or even leave us a review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Our main business is in portfolio management, so if you'd like to open up a trading account with us and have me advise you personally, then please let me know and I can explain how that works. And all the advice here is general only. So here's the daily chart of MIN. It's been a great trading stock. Obviously some massive ranges that we've been able to take advantage of. Most recently we had this sort of overbought period here. I mean, it's gone from $50 to $60 in only sort of 4 or 5 days. So naturally, the stock was going to consolidate. In the end, it started to give some of that back. The daily ranges are quite large now. So we've got this huge range here, this gap down here. So it's starting to get a bit dangerous to buy. As always, I'd like to see it settle down a bit. And if we have a look at the previous couple of lows, we could see that, when it does bottom out, it sort of settles down and builds a little base and gets going. So I'd like to see something like that happen again, even if it's around these levels. But at the moment, it does look a bit dangerous. Okay, Rio. So we had a sharp decline here in March and the bounce back, but then it looked like we had a bit of a double top here. So it bounced sharply, came back, tried to rally, sort of failed to breach that high. And then there were a few sort of negative days, which was the first warning sign, and then it's sort of come back here. So look, on a positive, we might be seeing a higher low, the way it's been reversing here at these levels above the March low. But I think because of this sharp decline, we're probably at best going to see it sort of move sideways for a bit. Probably needs to do a bit more work down here before it's a potential buy. Of course, if it breaks this, it's at risk of falling further. Okay, Weebit Nano. So hasn't really gone anywhere for the last several months. I mean, just looking recently, we had this sort of rounding out here and narrowing of the range in March, just above the December low. Sort of broke higher on good volume, but just couldn't follow through, and it's back to, what looks like a support level. So that's actually a negative. So a few attempts at the one level of support. It's a bit of a negative. We don't want to see it back down here. So the more it does this, the more chance there is that it actually breaks underneath. So I think there is a high chance that this one could break support. So I'd just be stepping away from this one at the moment and just seeing what happens here first. Okay, Elementos. So, general progress in the last year. I suppose most recently, to me, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. So you've had this sort of shoulder, head, shoulder, break. So that would have been the most recent buy signal. It's rallied pretty well. But, in the last couple of weeks, there's been some weak price action. So we've got this sort of price rejection here, tried to rally, bit of price rejection again. So sort of a few days here of price rejection. So that's looking a little bit negative in my opinion, and it's, continued to fall. On a positive note, you'd think that around this sort of level there might be, some support. I think it's too early to buy. We need to see if this support can still hold. But yeah, the way that it's fallen here, there's a risk that it's only up for a day or two, and it continues to fall further. Okay, and finally Eclipse Group. So look, also similar to the previous stock, there was a potential inverse head and shoulders here, reversal, nice move up. Look, generally making good progress, but just the ranges are quite large, so that, you know, to me that volatility is a little bit too high, that daily volatility. Look, I think it looks okay for a hold here. It seems to be doing pretty well compared to the broader market, but I guess the way I'd look at this is I just keep looking at the previous lows and use that as a bit of a trailing stop. So I think as long as it's holding those lows, that's fine. It looks like it wants to head higher, but as I said, just the daily volatility is a bit of a concern. Okay, well that's all for this week. As always, if you have a request, send it through and we'll try to look at it next week.